वेलकम टू प्रहार IAS। आज से हम शुरू करेंगे इम्पॉर्टेंट जजमेंट्स ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट फॉर प्रीलिम्स 2021, जो कि पीछे जितने भी रिसेंट टाइम्स में हुए हैं और जो बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं, खासकर हम उनको कवर करेंगे। तो हमारा आज का 2 है, जो कि आधार वर्डिक्ट एंड एडल्ट्री वर्डिक्ट। आधार वर्डिक्ट। इन अ सिग्निफिकेंट मूव द सुप्रीम कोर्ट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बेंच स्ट्रक डाउन several provisions in the Aadhaar Act in September 26, 2018. The Supreme Court upheld the Aadhaar scheme as constitutionally valid. However, the Apex Court 5-judge Constitution Bench also struck down several provisions in the Aadhaar Act. Now see the court verdicts. Supreme Court upheld the validity of Aadhaar, saying sufficient security measures are taken to protect data and it is difficult to launch surveillance on citizens on the basis of Aadhaar. A 5-judge bench led by former CJI Deepak Misra asked the government to provide more security measures as well as reduce the period of storage of data. The Supreme Court asked the center to bring a robust law of data protection as soon as possible. The Supreme Court said Aadhaar cannot be made mandatory for opening a bank account and for getting mobile connection. The Supreme Court said that Aadhaar must not be made compulsory for school admission and the administration cannot make it mandatory. The Supreme Court has made linking of Aadhaar and PAN mandatory. The Apex Court also made Aadhaar mandatory for filing of income tax return यानी ITR. The Supreme Court directed the government to ensure that illegal migrants are not issued Aadhaar to get benefit of social welfare scheme. The Apex Court struck down the provision in the Aadhaar law allowing sharing of data on the ground of national security. The Supreme Court said there is a fundamental difference between Aadhaar and other identity proof, as Aadhaar cannot be duplicated and it is a unique identification. It added that Aadhaar is to empower the marginalized section of the society and it gives them an identity. Now see the impact of judgment. Striking down of Regulation 27 and reducing a storage period of authentication data from 5 years to 6 months will ensure personal data is not misused. Amending Regulation 26 and making database relating to the transaction impossible will prevent fake profiting of an Aadhaar holder. New citizen can file a complaint in a case of data theft, which earlier could be done by the government. That is UIDAI. Law due to striking down of Section 47. Now Aadhaar may only be used by the government and not by the private parties as portion of Section 57 of the Aadhaar Act, which enable body, corporates and individuals to seek authentication, is held to be unconstitutional. Aadhaar could unleash its potential for good governance and effective distribution of social welfare service. Aadhaar was launched for the inclusion of marginalized section of society and it cannot be crucified on the possibility of failure in authentication. Aadhaar gives dignity to the marginalized. Dignity to the marginalized outweighs privacy. The Constitutional Bench strike down the national security exception, Section 33(2) under the Clause Act, which gives citizens the opportunity of being heard before disclosure of information under Section 33 of the Aadhaar Act. This will indirectly ensure greater privacy of individuals' Aadhaar data while restricting the government accessibility to it. The Supreme Court has made exception for children, saying that no child can be denied benefits of any scheme if he or she does not have Aadhaar card. Students of CBSE, NEET, UGC also do not require Aadhaar numbers to appear in exam. Even a school cannot seek Aadhaar card for admission. Now see the challenges that still remains. This remains to be a grey area, as the judgment does not mention that banks or mobile companies will have to delete the collected information. If also upheld the validity of Section 59 that also validated all Aadhaar enrollment done prior to the enactment of Aadhaar Act 2016. The court said that data collected between 2009 and 2016 was not forced, but those who specifically refuse to give consent would be allowed to exit the Aadhaar scheme, mandating Aadhaar on the poor rather than enabling easier access. It may end up harming them by denying them their rights to technical authentication problems. It is still needed in midday meal scheme for children's assistance, scholarship given by Department of Empowerment of Persons of Disabilities, supplementary nutritional program under ICDS scheme, payment of honorarium to AWHS under ICDS scheme, that is Integrated Child Development Scheme, ICDS training program, supplementary nutrition for children offered at Creech Center, स्टेप प्रोग्राम, राष्ट्रीय महिला कोष, प्रधानमंत्री मातृ वंदना योजना, painting an easier competition under IEC. Now come to the next point. If the Aadhaar number is seeded into every database, train, travel, air travel, bank account, mobile phone, employment history, health, and so on, it integrates these data silos. Aadhaar becomes the bridge across the disconnected data silos. People in government will be able to profile the citizens by pulling in information from various databases using that single identifier. Thus, the possibility of such profiling is likely to be led to self-censorship and is likely to stifle dissent. Section 33 allows disclosure of information, including identity and authentication records, if ordered by a court not inferior to that of district judge. Section 33 allows identity and authentication data to be disclosed in the interest of national security on direction of an officer not below the rank of Joint Secretary to the Government of India. Now we will see today's second issue, that is adultery verdict. In a landmark judgment in 2018, the Supreme Court scrapped the 150-year-old adultery law. Supreme Court's unanimous verdict said adultery law deprives women of dignity has to go. The 5-judge bench headed by former CJI Deepak Misra held that Section 497 was an archaic law that violates of the right of equality and destroys the deprived woman of dignity. The court held that 150-year-old law was unconstitutional and fell foul of Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty, and Article 14, that is right to equality. It destroys and deprives women of dignity and offends sexual freedom of women. The judgment said that making a special provision for women to escape culpability was constitutionally valid under Article 15, Clause 3 that allows such a law. Adultery cannot be a crime unless it attracts the scope of Section 306, that is abatement to suicide, of the IPC. It cannot be ground for civil issue including dissolution of marriage, but it cannot be a criminal offence. Unequal treatment of women invites the wrath of Constitution. The act of adultery is a voluntary sexual intercourse between a married person and someone other than that person's current spouse or partner. Section 497 of the IPC, Section 497 gives a husband that exclusive right to prosecute his wife's lover. A similar right is not conferred on a wife to prosecute the woman with whom her husband has committed adultery. Secondly, the provision does not confer any right on the wife to prosecute her husband for adultery. Further, the law does not take into account cases where the husband has sexual relation with the unmarried woman. Now see what were the ambiguities in the adultery law. Adultery laws under Section 497 views women as a property of men. The law was discriminatory. The right under the Act was not available to an aggrieved wife if her husband was found to be in an adultery relationship. A woman committing adultery is not deemed to be an abettor of the offence. Also, it legalizes the act of adultery if committed with the consent or convenience of the husband of the woman who is a party to the act. The dominant argument in the court hearing was that Section 497, governing adultery law, discriminated against men by not making women equally culpable in an adulterous relationship. It was also argued that adultery law gave a license to women to commit the crime. Now see the constitutional aspects. Adultery law violated the fundamental right of equality guaranteed under Article 14 and 15 of the Constitution. What can be concluded? So adultery is a relic of the past. Adultery might not be cause of unhappy marriage, it could be result of an unhappy marriage. Adultery can be a ground of divorce, it can be a part of civil law involving penalties, but not criminal offence. The Supreme Court also rejected the argument that unmarried women should be brought under the purview of adultery law. The argument was that if an unmarried man establishes adulterous relationship with a married woman, he is liable for punishment. But if an unmarried woman engages in a sexual intercourse with a married man, she would not be held culpable of the offence of adultery, even though both disturb the sanctity of marriage. The Supreme Court held that bringing such an unmarried woman in the ambit of adultery law under Section 497 would mean a crusade by a woman against other women. The ambiguity related to adultery law remained unresolved. Striking down the 150-year-old law based on Victorian values in Section 497 of Penal Code, which treat women as property of husband and criminalize adultery, is a welcome step to break the patriarchal control over women's body. इफ़ यू फाइंड दिस वीडियो इन्फॉर्मेटिव, डू शेयर। एंड हमारा अगला जो पार्ट है उसमें हमने लिया सबरीमाला केस एंड द 4th अयोध्या वर्डिक्ट। तो आप चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और बेल आइकन दबा दीजिए ताकि पार्ट 2 का नोटिफिकेशन आप तक सबसे पहले पहुँचे। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग।